Welcome to Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone, the comedy advice show that tells you how to live your life if you'd only pay attention. I'm Adam Felber, the voice of sanity, and now here's that other voice, Paula Poundstone. Welcome, Paula.
Thank you very much. Hey, Adam.
You're a font of advice.
I am. And actually, I just today discovered something that I would like to share.
Okay.
Which is if you can put on a sports bra when you're already a little bit clammy, then you don't need to work out.
Really?
It is so hard
to get a sports bra over a clammy torso?
Yeah. I did more moaning and more of a reach and a stretch and a pull on my arms.
Is it possible you're doing it wrong? Is it possible you should be putting it on from the other side or something? Or
no, just you don't
pulling
do
it up over your legs
side.
or something. No, I don't know.
No, you don't pull it over your legs.
Okay. Now, is the reverse true? Because obviously everybody gets clammy when they work out.
Yeah.
Is it hard to take off?
It is hard to take off, but my point is, after that, you've already worked out. What I'm saying
you should just put one on and take it off.
If you can get it on when
Right.
you're a little bit clammy, you know what? Take a break for an hour.
You're done.
You've fulfilled your quota, your commitment.
Well, that's good advice for anybody out there.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly. If only people would listen to me. Exactly.
But they won't.
No.
Okay, Paula, you've been giving advice, but here's the question I want to put to you right now. Has anybody been listening?
Nobody listens to Paula Poundstone. Nobody listens to Paula Poundstone. I said nobody listens to Paula Poundstone. I said nobody listens to Paula Poundstone. Well, she got some free advice that would be so nice. Only nobody listens to Paula Poundstone.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
All right.
How about that?
So, is that the theme song?
It might be the theme song. See, we've been talking about this a lot. I should say, first and foremost, that was performed by our house band this week, musician Timm Freeman on the guitar.
Tim Freeman, thanks
Welcome,
so
Tim.
much.
And Tim just whipped up a little theme song for you, because we were thinking we need a theme song, right?
Do podcasts have theme songs?
I don't know, but this one should.
I remember so many, well, not from podcasts, but from growing up, television show theme songs, and I don't even know if they do them the way they used to. You know, I mean, I think da 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 da, right?
Right, that's a theme ditty. That's a
theme ditty.
Well, I guess you would call it a theme song, but there's no lyrics.
Isn't that the guy who smokes a lot of pot and then hangs out with Martha Stewart? Theme ditty.
That's P Diddy.
Oh,
But does he hang with Martha Stewart now?
yeah,
He does?
yeah,
Well, he's been smoking a lot of pot. Then.
yeah.
So we're looking for a theme song is what I think is what I'm getting at. With your permission, we could really get into this, figure out what a good theme song is and how to do it. Like, for instance, we don't need a story song, right?
No,
It's not the Brady Bunch here.
no, we're not. We weren't on a 3-hour tour and the tiny ship was tossed.
No, we just walked into the studio, and that doesn't
Yeah.
make a great song.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it could, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, how about, she
Paula
parked a
arrived
little ways
around
away.
6:30.
Yeah. She left at about 4:30 from Santa Monica to get to North Hollywood.
Because
Should
there's a
have
lot of
taken
traffic.
20 minutes, but it took 2 hours. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's very popular.
So maybe we don't need we need more branding lyrics than we need story song lyrics. We're not really setting up a lot here.
Yeah, branding lyrics.
Yeah, because the title says it all.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do have a theme song contender in the can if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to advice, we gotta say it twice. We listen to mom, we listen to dad, we spit out the good and lead up the bad. We listen to an expert, we'll read a fat tone, but nobody listens to Paula Poundstone. Nobody listens to
Paula Poundstone.
Now, that is by James Raymond and lyrics by our own Ken Lezebnik. And it's a strong contender for a theme song. I think what I like about it is that it really kind of tugs on your Eastern European Jewish roots.
I think it's really it has definitely captured that.
Yeah.
I have gone to 2 Passovers, by the way, so
Okay.
it's not like I'm unfamiliar with your people.
With Jew stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
with Jew stuff. I didn't want to say it, but yes,
No, it's
with
Jew stuff.
stuff.
That's what we
Yeah.
call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got that going for it. And of course, what it has going against it is that you are not, in fact, Jewish or Eastern European.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, Poundstones could be anything.
Yeah, my mother lies about so much.
But I get the sense that we're at the beginning of a real long and interesting journey as we find the right theme song for this show.
I can see, just based on this premise, tons of musicians. Neil Diamond just announced that he's not going to tour anymore, but that doesn't mean that he won't submit a Paula Poundstone, Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone theme song as soon as he possibly can.
If you're somebody who's recently stopped a legendary touring and recording career and you're listening to this podcast, please.
Yeah.
Got extra time around the house, Neil Diamond?
Exactly.
If you're not working on the perfect, quiche?
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Send it in.
Eric Clapton also announced that he's going
Go
deaf.
deaf, yes.
And,
which makes him a great candidate for our
He
theme
might
song.
want to get it in quickly.
Yeah. So Eric, start writing now. But right now we have two between James Raymond and our own Timm Freeman here today. We've got 2 candidates. Tim, I'm not turning yours down. I like that Delta Blues thing.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that you brought in the other option while I was in the room.
Yeah.
Sensitive or anything.
Right. Well, at least we can cut you off and yell thank you because that's happened to me.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I went in for an audition and then saw Meryl Streep going in right after me.
Oh, she always,
my
always
gosh.
undercut you with that stuff,
it's
right?
just galling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were up for Sophie's Choice, right?
I was.
That was back
up
when they
for
still thought you were Jewish.
Well, it's part of my Eastern European roots, exactly, which apparently only some casting people were familiar with.
Yeah.
But and she, I don't know. I think she did something to get it.
What do you mean? You think she really?
Well, come on.
Well, exactly.
Tell me I didn't have that nailed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she
same
obviously,
thing out of Africa. Yeah.
You think she pulled a little hanky-panky there, too?
No question.
No question. Yeah. I can't believe they turned you down. So do you have any preliminary advice to people out there with theme songs? Because this is an advice show. Anything you want to encapsulate?
No. I think no, I don't actually. I don't know where these great ideas come from for good
Okay.
theme
So we're just putting an APB out there.
songs. Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you that I had a show on ABC at one point, and Nils Lofgren did the theme song, and it was fantastic.
Well, he's still around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, I like the one we have right
Sorry,
here.
Tim.
I know. I'm in the room.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you're in your room.
I'm
Give us
so
some segue
in
music.
the zone right now that I'm not even thinking about the other people in the room.
Now, Paula, I know you have a lot of thoughts about how to keep a friend. That's kind of a thing with you. You maintain relationships well.
Well, I try. I try. Making relationships to begin with is a little bit challenging. People who aren't used to me.
Right.
Yeah, I tend to rub people a little. As they say, the wrong way.
You never rubbed me the wrong way. But
I'm so
I remember
glad to hear
early
it.
on in our relationship, you just kind of let me know, I'm going to unspool for an hour or so, and you're going to listen.
Yeah.
And I am going to let you talk.
Yeah.
Now, that actually really happened. Like, we were kind of
Did
friends.
I say you'll get a turn? Did I
did
say that at like 45 minutes in? I said you'll get a turn.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
You know what it was? We'd hung out a few times. We were friends.
Yeah.
And you and I and my wife, Jeannie, were driving down from Los Angeles to a show in La Jolla together.
I recall.
Yeah. And you were in the back seat. We drove you down there.
Yeah.
And you started asking us questions as you were talking. And then you paused at one point and said, I am going to give you a chance to answer those questions I've asked you. But you have to, and then you explain the whole OCD thing.
Yeah. And eventually I just let you submit them in writing. Is that correct?
Some of them
Yeah.
I've yet to submit.
I remember that trip because I remember thinking that it was great that you and Jeannie had you had a blue headset and Jeannie had a pink one. I thought that was adorable.
Headset.
Yeah.
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 To
like-
shut out ambient noise.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a lot on that trip, as I remember.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
cabin.
Boy, you guys could go for hours not listening while I was talking.
Yeah, and which is why we became such great friends.
I think that was it.
And so let's bring our guest now. We've got Dr. Jonathan Bowman. Jonathan is a professor of communication at the University of San Diego, and he's written extensively about friendship and intimacy. So if anyone can tell us how to keep a friend, hopefully he can. Please welcome Dr. Jonathan Bowman.
Hi, Paula. Hi, Adam. Hi, Paula.
Welcome.
It's great to be here.
Well, thanks for being here. Hey,
Of course.
Now, what is intimacy? Do you mean like sex?
Oh, that's a good question. A lot of people think that intimacy is sex. No, when we're talking about intimacy, we're talking about anything that makes you feel really close to another person. So it's kind of those warm, fuzzy feelings. It could be sex. It could be talking about yourself, having lots of personal information that you're sharing.
I like it when it's sex.
It's yeah. Well, that's a pretty common response.
Do you ever say to a woman, "Do you want to share a lot tonight or have sex?"
Well, I do understand that sex is a form of sharing, but yeah, I wouldn't leave it open as do you want to share a lot
Yeah.
if I was looking for sex.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Because
okay,
then
got it.
I'd be getting Oreos.
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, don't turn down a good Oreo.
No, I would never.
How did you become an expert on
An
this,
expert
by
on
the way?
friendship.
Yeah.
So I find that people in the social sciences, we always study the stuff that we're either really good at or really bad at. And so I think for me, it was a little bit of a combination of the two. I thought I was really good at friendships. And then when I was in grad school, moved somewhere else, I realized, gosh, maybe I don't know everything that I thought I knew about friendships. You know, long
Was that
distance
because you
friendships.
couldn't maintain the friendships long distance, or you couldn't make new friends?
I was pretty good at making new friends. It was keeping those old friends that was
So you were really
tough.
superficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know, growing up in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your rules then? You must have rules. Like tell us what do you need to do to maintain a relationship better than you did when you were a grad student?
Yeah, so friendships oftentimes start because of proximity or similarity. And so a lot of it has to do with, what happens when that similarity goes away over time, or when your proximity is gone because you've moved across the country or you've moved across town, or you just don't see that person very often because you work in different jobs or something like that. So for me, I think the big rules are what we call these maintenance behaviors, relationship maintaining behaviors. There's things that you can do to really try to make sure that you're keeping that friendship in check, that it's staying. So like the first one, and it seems pretty obvious.
Do you ever just call someone up and go, "Where are you? What are you doing?"
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those kind of checking in that you need to constantly be doing with your friends. Sometimes it's as simple as just one simple basic text.
You're pretty
wait.
good at keeping friends, aren't you?
I've had some of the friends that I have had for a very long time. Come to think of it, I've had my oldest friend in the world. I've known him since I was 2, and we are still friends. But we don't talk all that frequently. But wait a minute, did I just hear you say the word text? Do you feel like that's a good idea in relationships?
Yeah, so what you need in your relationships is you need depth and you need frequency, right?
Well,
so
how much depth do you get out of a text?
nothing at all, right? So that's where you get the frequency. So a text, if I'm sending a friend a text once a week or once a month or even once a year for those, really long-term relationships, that may be enough kind of checking in just to let the other person you're thinking about them. It's that depth though, you really need to have a good phone call. Otherwise, I can't imagine your texting bill. Are there even texting bills anymore?
Not really. No, we've talked to a Verizon guy here on this program, and and most people don't have texting bills anymore.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I was in Logan Airport the other day, and they have a section. I swear this is germane. They have a section of hallway where they have this sort of timeline of things that were invented or created in Massachusetts.
Oh.
And one of them is Necco candies. I knew Necco candies were in Massachusetts, but what I didn't
New
know,
England Candy Company. That's hence the name.
Well, I'm not a cryptographer, but
It's not really very complicated.
I didn't. Boy, you
Did I just teach you something there?
You must work with the Russians. That was unbelievable. That was no scratch paper, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing. Just right off his head. No, what I didn't realize was that the Necco company makes the Sweetheart Valentine hard candies with the words printed on the front. And on this thing on the wall, as I'm walking towards, leaving the airport, going towards the baggage claim, they showed old ones, right? Pictures from old ones, which said stuff like, I love you and kiss me. And then they showed some modern ones. And the modern ones were LOL and text me.
Yeah.
And I thought, I think I found what's wrong with the world.
Sure.
Wow.
You know, LOL, how is that romantic again? And text me? It's so different from kiss me.
Yeah, but there probably was one that said call me.
There wasn't in that particular picture. These were
Well,
the
but you're going-
example
you're-
ones
you're
that they were
drawing
using.
a large
These were
societal
their
theory based on
proudest-
one picture of
And
Andy.
by the way, there's a writer that works on this stuff. You know, I don't.
That's
I
a
don't know.
very specific medium because that makes text messages seem like books.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to
Yeah.
fit on a tiny, crappy candy heart.
You've got 7 characters.
I wonder if any, kid approaches their dad at the end of his workday, and says, "Will you come throw the ball with me?" And he goes, "No, honey, I've been writing little candy hearts all day. I came up with LOL. I'm exhausted." Anyways, yeah. So that's lack of intimacy in one's Valentine candies is of concern to me, and I feel that texting is part of the problem.
Now, John, I just want to say if that's not at all relevant to what we're talking about here, that's okay. All right?
Totally relevant.
It's totally relevant. It's
Totally
in the neighborhood.
relevant.
Okay, so intimacy, which is a function of both frequency and depth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
What else?
I think another big thing that we don't oftentimes think about is the positivity of the relationship. So, in general, relationships need to have more positivity than less.
Good job, Adam.
Thank you, Paulie. You're doing great.
And what's interesting is, you can still have those moments of negativity or conflict and that kind of thing, but it just has to be kind of more positive than negative. So I think that's something that we don't think about because sometimes you want to come together with a friend and you want to just, talk about your day or complain about work or that kind of thing.
So more positivity
More
than
positivity.
negativity. So good job, Adam. Fuck you, Adam. Good job, Adam.
Yeah, that was
so
there.
would that be the
2/3
right
is
ratio?
positive. Absolutely. That's
66% positive. I feel
Yeah.
good about myself.
Yeah,
that's good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well done, Paula. Fuck you. So you got to be positive. What else? Like with long distance friends, it's obviously calling and texting.
Texting.
Yeah. So long distance friendships are weird, right? Because you don't actually see the person, and so you don't have a sense of who they are and how they're growing and changing. And the relationship is probably a lot different, but you aren't next to each other to be able to figure that out. And so,
Well, I know Paula's going to hate this, but I've noticed, like with my kids, particularly my older kid, he's 9 now. When he has a long distance relationship with people, with a couple of people, they like to do the FaceTime chats.
sure.
Sometimes they're just playing a game together, but they see each other in little boxes on the
Yeah.
screen, and like I noticed that. So he met this daughter of a friend of ours like a year ago, and they really hit it off, and they play games together while looking at each other's faces about once a week.
But they're playing games together? Like what? Like video games?
Yeah, like computer games.
Oh, Jesus.
I know you hate those. I said you'd hate this.
Well, they cause mental health problems, but go ahead.
Yeah, but they're friends.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that as they both lose mental function,
Yes.
they're going down that path together. Yeah,
together, and that's
exactly.
important. Back me up here, John.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and also that's another form of intimacy. So we didn't talk about recreational intimacy, but that's doing stuff with other people. That's almost as important as your sexual intimacy or your emotional intimacy. It's just another way of being good friends or romantic partners.
Give me an example. Not of the sex part. That I'm fairly clear on, but
Just spending time together, doing things that you want to do. So it's a little bit difficult with long distance friendships, but in this case, they're spending time together, playing video games, like they're recreating with one another, and that lets them feel very close to one another.
I just don't know if it's healthy for kids to see each other in a little box.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't
Right.
know.
No,
if
but that's why I don't let him chat with her when I put him in the box.
That's good.
Because
I
when he
just
does something,
feel
he spends 10 minutes in the box.
It's
Gives me a lip about it.
it's-
15 minutes in the box.
It's cool head Luke over there. You're I just feel like I actually was just talking with this therapist in Boston, and he insists on using Zoom, which is some what do you call it?
Conferencing software.
Yeah, but it's like highly secure. And I really could just talk on the phone. That's fine with me. I don't care if the Russians hack my
calls.
information gathering session with this guy. I don't care at all. So today they showed me how to do it. And like what you end up seeing is yourself in a little box, and then you see them in a little box. And it's a little bit like I have a map rug in my house of the United States.
Yeah, your
and
drum kit is
then-
on it.
Yeah, exactly. And Hawaii and Alaska are both in a box somewhere in the Pacific. And I feel it's the same thing for kids to grow up seeing each other in a little box on a screen. It's just
They won't have a sense of where that person is.
Right, it's misinformation, like a lot of kids think for sure that Alaska is just off the coast of California.
Did you think that as a kid? Because they were always in a box when we were growing up.
I had no concept of where any place else was.
Wait, can I go back to
Please.
your kid though? So one of the things that's good about him seeing his friend in that little box though, which we don't get through any other forms of long distance communication, is you're reducing the hyper-personal perspective. So the hyper-personal perspective is this idea that when you're doing things online with other people and interacting, they can't see much about you, and so they automatically assume the best of you. And so then you have these like really built-up, amazing views of your friends, or maybe people that you're romantically interested in, and then when you finally meet them, it's a total letdown. So what your son is doing is actually great because he's keeping that relationship in the way that it should be.
He won't be surprised when he sees her again.
Surprised, absolutely. So that's kind of much better than the other ways that we could think about it.
Huh? That's really interesting.
Yeah,
Paula doesn't agree.
Because
it involves a screen. I know.
There are drawbacks to screens
think you're right.
and video games. But I will say, I work with someone that is often
I know
when
where this
we
is going.
are on the phone,
Right.
she thinks I don't know that she is scrolling
Oh, sure.
and doing other work. And so there's these sort of long pauses. And in that case, maybe it would be good if I had some sort of surveillance camera on her.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I actually did a research study on that. We were looking at people engaging some other task and also at the same time having communication interactions with another person. So talking to a friend on the phone. And we found that people think they're good at communicating while doing something else. We call that dual tasking.
There's no such thing.
Yeah, they can't do it. So everyone looks at like the task, like, oh, can they drive a car safely, et cetera.
Right.
But it turns out the communication sucks too. Right. So you think you're like, oh, at least I'm having a good conversation and driving okay. But really you're having a sucky conversation and driving pretty poorly.
Yeah. If only there was a way of letting this person know that.
The great thing is, Paula, is that we have a podcast now, and if that person is out there somewhere,
Yeah.
then
Anywhere, wherever they might
wherever
be.
she was, like if she could be as close as say the four of us at this table or your manager Bonnie over here, and that person might hear it and think, you know what, that could be me.
Yeah. Well, this person that I'm thinking of
Right.
has insisted for years that she, and I am making the little quotation marks with my fingers,
Air quotes.
multitasks.
And you're saying she doesn't.
I have said to her over and over again, there is no such thing
That's
as
absolutely
multitasking.
Absolutely
and she
true.
says, what?
Yeah. We do cognitive switching. So then we're just, we're switching back and forth from the task to the conversation.
Sure.
And so really we're only putting half our effort into both of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's
I'm
so
this
that's
close
not-
to putting down my phone at this moment, so I can do a better job here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Once you get on the Angry Birds, you have a hard time focusing. Yeah. And so that sort of thing would lead to a lack of depth in the communication, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine
You're
that.
just plain looking at Bonnie at this point.
No, I'm not looking at Bonnie. I don't know what makes you say that.
It looked like you were many times during this conversation.
I was just going to ask you something. All right, what about a relationship where you or the other person? Here's an example with my sister.
Sure.
If I didn't call my sister, I would never hear from her.
Sure.
Years ago, I just sort of accepted that, and I went, okay, well, then if I want to talk to her, I guess I have to call. But, I think because we're related, I've put up with that. But I can't imagine in most friendships. What do you do when you feel like, wait, I do all the calling?
So there's two kind of different ways you could look at that. Like one is that we say that one of the relationship maintaining behaviors that's really important is assurances. So that's verbal or nonverbal like expressions of support. So if you aren't calling me, if we're not texting, if we're not interacting with each other, then we're not assuring each other of our relationship. And so her not calling you doesn't like show you that she really cares that much in that way. But
I would also think about the restraining order she.
Well, that's fair. That's very fair.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't even brought
I
that
think there are
into
signals being sent. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that is mixed signals, I think.
I don't even think they're mixed. I think she's not calling you and having you. It doesn't sound mixed at all.
So you're saying that if what are you saying?
Well, so you.
I'm sorry, I was doing
stop
something
texting.
No,
else.
that's okay.
I was. No, I'm kidding.
So one of the things, though, is because you guys are related, you have that sense of obligation, right? And so because there's that sense of commitment that's kind of built into the relationship, oftentimes families aren't really good about those relationship
apparently she
maintaining
doesn't
behaviors.
feel any obligation.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, until, like there's going to be a need for a blood transfusion, I'm sure I'll get a call. But prior to that, no, clearly she doesn't feel any obligatory connection at all, because I always do, always have, always did the letter writing, always did the call.
But at least you're not dwelling on it is the important thing. It's just how the relationship works.
I've let it go.
Yeah. No, that's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've let
You're
it
not
go. I'll
letting
tell you
this stuff
something.
build itself up.
no.
Are you calling her now?
Not the second. No, I'm talking to you. Jesus, if I'm not in a little box, you don't see me, do you?
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me just ask you, Jonathan, what about letter writing? Ever any studies about the difference between letter writing and what people do now?
There
Emails?
there haven't been too many studies about it, but in general, findings have shown that people enjoy having something tangible from a friend. So I'm really big on postcards. It's about the same length of a tweet if you really think about it, but it's handwritten. The person can keep it for a day before they throw it away rather than just deleting it immediately, which is a really embarrassing thing to say. But I think that's a great method to give someone kind of a tangible reminder of who you are and the fact that you're in their life.
I love letter writing. I love receiving letters, and I must say I've never carried an email close to my heart.
I've actually printed them out. I've printed out emails
printed
just so I
out
can
emails?
keep them. Yeah, which is really
yeah.
embarrassing to admit.
Yeah. Well, do you notice that the signature is a lot the same on each?
Yes, absolutely.
And what about this, Jonathan? I just have to ask you one more thing.
Sure.
What about if you happen to be in a friendship, and I'm sure this doesn't happen. I can't even think of why I'm thinking of this, but and you just can't stop talking.
Ooh. I think you'd have to maybe get someone to walk around behind you and play some music out.
Oh,
Yeah, I bet you would.
that could be a good idea.
All right, so now we've had some fantastic advice from Dr. Jonathan Bowman, but we have to put it through the advice filter known as Paula Poundstone. Paula, for our listeners, what's your advice on how to maintain a friendship?
Tim, would you play a little something over my advice? Well, of course you have to talk to each other, do stuff together, stay real but not too negative. Like, I think I got some bad fish last night, but I love your bathroom. And don't bother calling my sister.
That's terrific advice. All right, Jonathan Bowman, Dr. Jonathan Bowman, may I call you my friend?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you so much, man. You know, Paula, we are not the only show on the Maximum Fun Network.
What?
It's true. Listen to this.
Oh,
The news today is terrible, so why not forget about it while listening to Jonah Radio with Cash Hartzell.
Hey, everybody.
Featuring Neil Mahoney.
Also me.
This is a podcast where we play music submitted by listeners. We hang out, we listen to new tunes, and we take submissions at JonahRadio, RAYDIO, @gmail.com. Come and check us out. We're here anyway.
Yeah, we'll be here.
So, and that's it. Back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
All right, let's move on to our next segment, which is how do you know when you've been cheated by a car mechanic? Now, Paula, let's hear your pre-advice before you know anything about that.
okay. Well, first of all, let me just say that I have never met an auto mechanic that did not rip me off.
Never.
I had a 65 Mustang that was in the shop over 40 times in 8 months. I have been ripped off every way that one possibly can be by auto mechanics. And part of it is because I think the method I always used was I would be honest. I would go in and say, look, I don't know anything about cars.
Oof.
Right. I'd say, I have almost no money. And I love this car. Can you help me? And these are the 3 things that they need to know to just.
Well, I think if you'd said,
ream
and
you.
I have a lot of money, that would be even worse. I don't
Well,
know
that
anything
might
about
be-
cars.
yeah.
I have unlimited supply of money,
Yeah.
and I love this car like a child.
Yeah.
That would be the
they-
absolute
So
worst
they
thing you
knew
could
that
say.
I would do anything to keep it running.
Yeah.
They knew that I wouldn't know whether they did what they were supposed to do or not.
Right.
And they knew that they could basically just suck me dry. So I think the mistake I made was, of course, the first mistake was just letting them know how ignorant I was.
Right.
So here's my theory. When you go to the auto mechanic, you should have a little bit of grease on your hands and wear coveralls with your name embroidered on them.
Okay,
And just give them the impression that you haven't had time to fix it
you're a
yourself.
mechanic who's so busy that you don't have time to fix your own car.
Right, exactly.
Do you put on like a mechanic voice too when you do it? Like, how would you sound if you were?
Yeah, well, I like to just lift up the hood no matter what's wrong with the car. Like it could even just be that the sun visor's off,
Right.
but I still lift up the hood.
To show them that you know how to
exactly.
lift a hood.
Yeah. I did one time the gas, was it the brake or the gas pedal that fell off? One of the two pedals fell off, I forget. And
Wow, you should
I
know the
lifted the
difference
hood
between
and
those.
showed it to the guy.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, then let's find out how accurate that incredibly good advice is. We're going to welcome
Oh,
Darren
it's accurate.
Bart. Oh, it's very, I'm
It's
sure.
accurate.
We're going to welcome Darren Bart from the Whitney Auto Service in Van Nuys. Whitney is a third-generation family-run shop, and one of our producers, I think that's Ken Lizebnik, swears it is the only completely honest repair shop he has ever experienced. Darren Bart, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Darren.
Glad to be here.
Ken, of course, is famous for riding a tricycle everywhere he goes, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure I trust
Not
his.
gonna make it too far.
Yeah, not on a tricycle.
Do you remember when Ken first brought his car to you in your repair shop?
Actually, I do vaguely remember meeting them, and their son brought in a car, and I told him, "Don't get that car, get a Toyota." And he took my advice, and he's.
What
been
car did
happy.
you tell him not to get?
It was a Volkswagen or an Audi.
Right.
I think it was a little Volkswagen.
But
So,
Volkswagens
stay away
are
from it. I
Audis,
think
right?
Yeah, same thing to me. So he ended up getting the Fit, and
What's
it was
a
a bright
Fit?
color, a Honda Fit.
What? I don't know what a Honda
It's
Fit
a small
is. My son's had a Fit in every kind of car.
Honda, yeah. A little compact car.
Is it
little
a
economic
Fit
car.
has like a pillow over at the glove compartment where the person could just bang their head?
Maybe.
That's a safety device for someone with kids.
Darren, how do you spot a dishonest mechanic?
You just look at them.
I told Ken earlier we had some dinner and talking. I tell people, because other shops, and I've even used other shops outside of the area. When I bought a car out of state, I had
Right.
it looked at by another shop. Are they ASE certified, Automotive Service Excellence, and are they AAA approved? And those two qualifications right there should.
At least,
And by the way, that's different than AA approved.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to.
That'll be
yeah,
different.
you know.
just being sober isn't enough to make
Right,
an honest
yeah.
mechanic.
No,
A lot of drinkers struggling not to drink can't really tell you if your car's working or
Right,
not.
and if they have a big sticker on the wall that says AA approved, they're kind of violating the anonymity part of it too.
You got to trust your gut. You got to, that's why you come in. I'm the first person, my dad Roger, you come in, you're going to meet us. And we're the real deal. I'm just a human, just trying to fix cars. You come in, tell me your issues. I'm going to take you down, and we try to do the best we can.
So, but you must be familiar with
I see other
dishonest
shops.
mechanics.
And we see the dealerships, and they're not all bad, but we do see a lot where
so
they
what are
just,
some signs that they're taking you for a ride?
they just oversell. They just go for the jugular on everything because it's all about putting the numbers out there. They sell so much stuff. They give everyone huge estimates, and eventually someone's going to take it and they're going to sell stuff they don't need. And then you're talking to a person that then passes the car off to their technicians, their A team, B team. Then they come back, tell them, oh, they need this. They sell it to you. They've never looked at the car. They don't know what your brakes look like. They're just being told by someone else who's just getting paid by it. So there's room for dishonesty there. They're not all like that, but it can be.
Okay.
And so where with us, you come in, the guys tell me it needs brakes. I go out there and look at it with my own eyes.
Right.
Can say, you know what, if it's my car, I'd go longer, and give options.
I think you're rare, though.
We
I
are
think
rare. And that's why we
you
sit
could
out. That's
be-
why we've been around since 1950.
You
Right,
could you could
because-
be like someone could tag your ear and put you like out in the field, because listeners won't know this.
Right. We have a vast international audience, some of whom don't have
Yeah.
the
No.
option of coming to your
Hello
shop.
out there.
This guy is like the Opie of auto mechanics. He looks so innocent.
There's no
and
way
sweet.
he's lying to us. Now, Darren, let me ask you a question because you have an amazingly honest face. And
Okay.
I thought
appreciate
a
it.
minute ago when Paula was talking that when I saw an expression cross your face that maybe Paula's problem isn't bad mechanics so much as her tendency to drive old and shitty cars. Is that what you were thinking?
I do see that. I
That
tell
was a classic car.
I
It's not an old shitty car.
I drive a
It's
Toyota
beautiful-
Prius. We always recommend Japanese cars, the Toyota and Hondas.
Because they don't break down as much.
Yeah.
They definitely
Also because it's-
stand the test of time. They're better quality cars, in
German
our
and
opinion.
American cars, okay.
Yeah.
Than
and
the
what
German
he's not telling you
vehicles.
is that his dad is full-blooded Japanese.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you start repairing cars when you were like a little boy?
I have, ever since little, my grandma remembers me taking cars and putting them up on the toy blocks and trying to work on them, and always Legos and breaking them and trying to put it back together. And it's always
Did you
been in
have
there.
like those little Fisher Price men, and then you would rip them off?
No.
You would practice conning them out of money?
How to cheat them out of their life. No.
Oh, sorry. I have to put your car up on the blocks, and then you have to give me
No, I
thousands
was
of dollars.
into the Hot Wheels. I was into cars and that stuff.
Oh,
but it
yeah.
was more of just see how fast you can make them go.
Is there a phrase that I could use when I go to a shop to make them think I know more than I know?
Tell them hi. Ask
Just-
them their name.
Just hi, and what's your name? Oh, that's a giveaway. It's on their coveralls.
Yeah.
Right. You've proved that you're illiterate.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
I mean, I really know nothing about cars until just recently. I thought rotating the tires meant just turning them slowly when they were up on the lift.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, that is for real. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're
So-
you're aware that tires rotate in that manner all the time when you drive.
Well, that's why I always thought it was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
Every time they said, we have to rotate your tires, I'm like, well, that's insane. I've just been driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not. It's not my area.
I don't feel like you have enough knowledge to know if you're being ripped off.
Well, I ended up going
yeah,
to.
sometimes you might be doing what's right.
No.
You've had a bad
Well,
experience.
One place,
You've been
No, I had
traumatized.
multiple bad
Yeah.
experiences. First of all, one guy, they didn't even test drive the car. And when I went back, because I was going over the Bay Bridge and the car started to shimmy. And when I went back, and the guy sort of confessed that he never test drove it. And I did start to yell at him, and he said, "How you think it feels to be yelled at?" He was a Asian guy.
Yeah,
I can tell by the
yeah,
accent.
good
Yeah,
accent.
yeah. And I said, well, how do you think
Darren
it
was
feels
flashing
to be
back to his
going over
dad.
the Bay Bridge and feel like you're going to crash? And he goes, oh, yeah, that probably not feel too good.
So there was no trust there.
No, but at
You
least you
say-
keep.
Oh, I see. I would
Yeah,
trust.
yeah.
I would trust you.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's why I'm asking: is there something I could know about? Because so much of it now is like computer stuff, anyway.
Oh, so you want
Yeah.
Darren to teach you a little bit of jargon so you don't sound ignorant?
Right? Exactly.
But the best thing is come in and to give, like when you go to the doctor, you give your symptoms and take it down. Some people come in and they immediately are trying to diagnose their own car. I'm overheating. I need a new radiator. How much for a radiator? Hold on, pump the brakes. Let us find out what's going on. Then we'll.
Why
look
would
up
you pump the
estimates.
brakes if you're overheating?
I don't exactly.
What's a tie rod?
Tie rod is part of the steering.
Oh, is
Inner
it
or outer?
Because I always hear people talking about the car throwing a tie rod, right?
I don't think so.
You've never heard that?
No,
I'm pretty sure I have. Maybe it was from one of those guys I went to.
tie rod is. You can see this, right? Everyone
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah, everyone can see us.
I'm using my hands.
Yeah.
The rack and pinion, it connects the steering.
I've never known
Yeah.
what rack and pinion was.
That's
Rack and
connected, but the
pinion.
rack is connected to the pinion with the tie rod.
Oh, yeah, the
So-
rack and pinion steering. I've heard of that.
But yeah, you can't throw a tie rod. You can bend a tie rod when you hit a curb and then your alignment's off and your tires are on the inside. That's going to be
fuck, I
the tie
hate
rod
that.
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you bend your tie rod.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my late excuses for work once.
No,
Sorry. I
I'm
bent a
looking at
tie
some of the
rod.
questions that
Yeah.
we have written up for us
Okay.
here, and they don't make any sense to me, but I'm going to read you one.
Okay.
Why do they have pinup calendars in the bathrooms? Do you have pinup calendars in your bathroom?
I have a world map in the bathroom.
A world map. But
So it's a planetary
behind-
pinup.
Behind the world
Oh, wait,
map.
you're talking about
What-
in the restroom?
in the restroom, yeah.
No, we have a map and put pins where I have been or want to go.
Okay.
And underneath that,
There's
not.
no pictures of naked women
Yeah,
in there.
that's
There's
exactly-
none of that.
I feel
Those,
like
I guess,
this
were
is-
the good old days,
Yeah,
but I
this
missed
sounds
it all.
like a question from 1975.
They don't do that.
Okay,
We're in
do
a
you
politically
remember-
correct world now. That's kind of all gone away. It used to be more that
It
the
hasn't
guys in
gone
the
away.
toolbox would have the pictures, but that honestly, the companies, the parts companies would give those calendars out, but they don't do that anymore. Now they put pictures of cars on the calendar, and who wants to look at cars?
Yeah.
In a garage.
Yeah, no one.
Do you remember when you were little?
That's like pinups in a strip
Well, we
club.
throw them away. We
Do
don't
you
want to
remember
look at
when you
cars.
would put the toy cars up on the blocks?
Yeah.
And then you had those little pinup calendars.
Yeah.
Like a small Fisher Price pinup calendar. You went, oh, look at that baker.
So that's
Oh.
what people think of car repair.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
this is good.
Yeah,
I
no,
like
I
it.
don't.
I
I
like
can't
it.
say that
I don't know.
everyone
No, no,
thinks
but
I
I-
would
that.
make the generalization
Because it is
people,
there.
because I'm guessing who wrote this question.
I think that
Giovanni?
I think that was
It
no,
was
that
your
was my
question, Paula.
question.
No, I
Yeah,
like
okay.
it. I like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, because I thought the pinup thing had gone the way of the horse of the
Doo-doo.
No,
yeah
no, it
the
went
dodo,
into a
yeah.
different
Of
room.
the sob.
It's no longer
the
in the
sob.
bathroom. It's now in another room. It's there.
I don't
No.
think it is. I think
It's there.
It's not.
Well, email us if you know of a garage.
So
with
you go into your restroom at your repair shop, and
Yeah.
you're like sitting on the toilet, and you move a pin to show where you've been
No, on the
before.
urinal
I don't
above
think he
it, we have
moves pins.
National Geographic. Every once in a while, they have a new poster, and we'll put that up there.
You put up a National Geographic. Tell me there's not naked women in there.
There's not one.
Mostly
There's not
not.
one.
Mostly not.
Mostly not.
We're trying to run a repair shop. And
There you
not
go.
It's not a bar. It's not a hangout. It's just.
Yeah. How many
just-
barflies have you had to tell that to? All right, fellas, let's move along. There's no pinup girls in here. This
Again,
is not a bar.
if there were barflies at the garage you
Yeah.
took your car to,
Yeah.
Probably
it
the
was
wrong
probably
garage.
a bar.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
If they're drinking and fixing your car.
Yeah.
And they will take
Yeah.
advantage of you.
That's exactly what. I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, well,
Oh my god. That's why it's so good that we get together
yeah.
here.
I can help identify those little tiny details that might
You know, I wondered why none of them had the coveralls with their name over the
No,
pocket.
they just had overshirts with
Yeah.
vomit on them,
No,
right?
a lady came over and said, "Hi, my name is Stormy." And I said,
Will you fix my
Will
Mustang?
you fix my
You're-
65 Mustang?
Yeah. Oh, now so much is coming clear.
Do people stiff you on your payments? Does that happen a lot?
We had someone stole their car last week or 2
What do
weeks
you mean
ago.
they stole their car?
We put an engine in the vehicle. The guy showed up to pick his car. My dad went out there with him. He wanted to see it. So go out there, open the hood. Look, there's the engine in it. You want to start it, starts it. You want to go for a test drive. My dad goes to close the hood.
Uh-oh.
And Raymond Barago, he's got a.
Raymond Braga, sure. He's pulled this all
If you're
over.
out there, call us up. Hey, the police are coming for you.
Raymond hit the gas and left.
And then my dad went around, closed the hood, went to open the door, and he took off. My dad thought the throttle stuck. He took off so quick, nearly running my dad over. And
Wow.
he sped out the driveway and ran through the stop sign right there. And my dad comes in and goes, I don't think he's coming back. I said, he's coming back. And then I went out there, and then it kind of sunk in that
Raymond
this guy's not coming out,
Barago.
so
Right,
that-
yeah.
Wow,
we
does that happen a
probably-
lot? I
no,
mean,
this is the first it's ever happened.
I mean, it just that seems like a stupid crime. I got to
Stupid
say,
crime because
Raymond, this is Paula. Get in the closet.
Got
Get in the
us-
closet.
towed in by AAA, so we have his AAA information.
Right, we
have
have all
his
his
name,
information.
have his address,
Yeah.
have his girlfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
He's looked him up on Facebook, but this is a case of another thing. For you,
LOL, stole my old car today.
Yeah.
Yeah, a picture of him like sticking
Yeah.
out his
you're
tongue.
talking about how to.
What if somebody comes in the door and they have a big T-shirt on that says "Friends with Raymond Baraga"?
Yeah. Free Raymond Barago. What kind of car do you drive? And I bet the answer
I
is
just want to say one thing. I talked
yeah.
to Raymond, and he told
Yeah.
me you guys gave him such a good deal.
Oh, what kind of car was Raymond's?
It was a sob.
It was a Saab.
Yeah.
Oh, come
So
on.
that
no,
was bad.
No,
They don't make 'em
criminal,
like that
no
anymore.
There's more,
criminal
yeah.
drives a Saab. That's ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is this is Raymond on a heist.
Yeah. Did not,
That's
want to work on the car to begin with, but hey, it was
So you're not
his
a Saab
car. He
fan?
wanted.
No,
No,
you know,
the
like-
Saab's not even around anymore.
Right.
Saabs aren't around anymore.
No.
Because it's a depressing name for a car.
Is that true?
They're out of
Oh,
business.
no, you're spelling it wrong.
I'm saying it
It's
right.
not SOB.
Yeah, but
I'm driving an SOB.
but people say I drive a Saab, and I always feel like
No,
I
you just
feel
see 'em in
sorry
movies.
for you.
Yeah, yeah. For a while, in the early '90s, I drove a wept openly.
See,
Yeah,
and that,
very
that
depressing.
depresses people.
Very depressing.
Yeah, it wept openly. Yeah. For a
Some
few
water?
years, I drove a Honda Suicidal.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
that was
yeah.
not a happy car to be in.
Yeah, until somebody talked you out of it.
But you drive a Japanese car, right? Because you're
I
dad.
drive a Toyota Prius with 300,000 miles on it.
Wow, that's
and
nice.
so it's a guinea pig and it just keeps going and it gets me to and from work.
Fantastic. So, Paula, having gleaned this new information from Darren, what is your new advice that no one will listen to about car repair?
So, Tim, will you play a little something behind my advice? So, Darren, thank you so much. This was excellent advice, I'm sure. And if I have it straight, if I go to an auto mechanic, I should say a nice hello and ask the mechanic's name. Then I can head to the bathroom to move the pin on the map.
Yes.
And if I really want a good deal, have Raymond Barago take my car in.
Oh, that'll get you some time behind jail.
Thank you so much, Darren.
All right, thank you, Darren Bart. Darren and his father own Whitney Auto Service, the best auto repair shop in Los Angeles, possibly in the country. I myself ride a bicycle, but I would take it into you for repairs. Darren,
Bike's a good way to go.
thank you so much.
Adam,
Yes, Paula?
I just can't think of anything more to say. What should the listener do?
Perhaps listen to this promo for another fine program on the Maximum Fun Network.
Oh, yeah.
Are you tired of trying to keep up with the news cycle?
Is bad stuff happening too fast for you to process?
Don't you wish there was an easy way to find out about only the most important info you need?
Hi, we're Lisa.
And Emily. Why don't you try our podcast, Baby Geniuses?
On each episode of our podcast, we discuss a weird Wikipedia page such as
Flatulence humor,
Clamato,
Catalan witches,
Clippy, the Microsoft Office helper,
death during consensual sex,
and the talking mongoose.
we ask each other stupid questions.
If you if you got a packet with like 300 seeds in it, what kind of plant would you choose the seeds to be?
That felt like you were assigned to ask me a question and there were certain words you weren't allowed to use.
We talk about Martha Stewart, her pony, and other celebrity horse news. Ben Chunch.
Every other week on Maximum Fun.
Baby Geniuses.
Well, Adam, I hope people out there have been listening.
Well, yeah, chances are, Paula, that, the title of the show is Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone, so
They probably haven't.
probably not. But Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone is hosted by Paula Poundstone and yours truly, Adam Felber. It's produced by Paula Poundstone, Adam Felber, but a different Adam Felber, Bonnie Burns, and Ken Lezebnik, along with Liza Forster. Technical direction by Jorge Reyes. Snacks for our guests was provided by a rotating member of our production team. I think it was Ken this week. Timm Freeman on the guitar was our house band. Thank you, Tim. And thank you to our guests, Dr. Jonathan Bowman and Darren Bart.
That's our show for tonight. See you next week when we'll broadcast live from Betty Jameson's house in Fayette, Missouri.
No, we won't.
I'm not really close. I haven't maintained my relationship with Betty Jameson.
I think she's stuck in a box somewhere.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Listener supported.